Grace Millane, a young woman full of dreams and aspirations, set out on a journey to explore the world. Born on December 2, 1996, in Wickford, Essex, Grace was a talented artist and a recent graduate of the University of Lincoln with a degree in advertising and marketing. After graduating from the university, she set off on a year-long solo trip around the world, eager to explore new cultures and meet new people. Her adventures brought her to the picturesque landscapes of New Zealand. In November 2018, Grace arrived in New Zealand, one of the many destinations on her travel itinerary. She was captivated by the country's stunning landscapes and friendly locals. As she documented her journey on social media, her friends and family enjoyed keeping up with her adventures, from hiking in lush forests to exploring bustling cities. On the evening of December 1, 2018, Grace, who had just turned 22, met a man named Jesse Kempson in Auckland through a dating app. They spent the evening together, visiting bars and getting to know each other. The evening seemed typical, filled with laughter and conversation. But what started as a night of fun quickly took a dark turn. Grace was last seen entering a hotel with Kempson. When her family didn't hear from her the next day, they grew concerned and reported her missing. The search for Grace gripped New Zealand and the world. The police investigation quickly uncovered CCTV footage and other evidence that led them to Jesse Kempson.
We launched an investigation immediately, tracing Grace's movements through CCTV and interviewing people who had interacted with her.
Jesse was the last known person seen with Grace that night. The police knew he was the one who could help them fill in the gaps. On the same day Grace was reported missing, December 5, Jesse was asked to come to the station to answer some questions.
Tell us about Grace.
So I was talking to Grace on Tinder.
Yeah.
We'd matched on Friday. I saw that we'd matched the next day on Saturday. And then we met at Sky City, and then we decided that we were going up to Andy's Burger Bar, which is on the first floor.
Whose idea was it to go to that particular burger place?
Me, because I didn't initially know that she was real.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of... So have you heard of catfish?
No.
So catfishing is where someone uses your profile or uses your photos and pretends to be you and then meets, and you're a completely different person.
How does meeting in a public place sort of protect you from meeting someone who's not as good looking as...
Well, there's security there. So if she wasn't who she said she was,
Yeah.
At least in my mind I'd feel safe. Yeah, that's us.
Down there?
Yep. So she's going that way, and I'm going across the street. I go down Queen Street. I go down Victoria Street, straight down to the bottom, and then hang a left, and I head towards the viaduct.
You've kind of walked in a bit of a funny direction if you were planning to go to the viaduct. Is there a particular reason you were going to do that?
I feel safer down that way.
And we're very, very concerned for her safety, obviously. It's entirely possible that she's been the victim of foul play.
Okay.
You understand what that means?
Yeah.
What would your feelings be about providing us with a voluntary DNA sample in the event that we can compare that against something? Would you be happy with that?
100%. I mean, I know I haven't done anything wrong, so I'm happy to do it.
Okay. At this stage, we don't know what's happened to this girl.
Okay.
It's possible that somebody has killed her. Okay. You understand that?
Yeah.
She might, when I say foul play, I mean that someone might have murdered her. Don't know if she's been murdered or not yet. She may be alive and well.
Okay.
But she might also be dead. Okay? And it could be that you've done it.
He said nothing out of the ordinary happened that night. They ended the evening nicely with a hug and a kiss on the cheek. He mentioned that he had tried messaging her on Tinder but noticed that Grace had unmatched him, abruptly ending his contact with her. But the officers hadn't yet finished reviewing the CCTV footage from the City Life Hotel, and they were about to start getting more answers to their remaining questions. Despite Jesse saying they parted ways on the streets, they were both seen arriving together at the City Life Hotel. They exited the elevator together on Jesse's floor, but Grace was never seen leaving the building. The morning after, on what was Grace's birthday, cameras captured Jesse leaving the hotel. They tracked his movements and saw Jesse shopping for suitcases and buying cleaning supplies. He then rented a car. After this, Jesse went back to the hotel, this time bringing a cleaning machine and explaining to the staff that he had red wine stains that needed cleaning up. Later that evening, Jesse loaded 2 suitcases onto a hotel trolley and took them to the car he had rented. The next day, he was seen on camera again, this time buying a shovel. On December 5th, the day Grace was reported missing, Jesse was seen visiting various locations and dumping items in bins. When the police came to the hotel to talk to him, they saw him running. They chased him, caught him, and brought him in for questioning.
That you're willing to speak to us about the events last Saturday. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell me what happened last Saturday.
She started talking to me about 50 Shades of Grey. We started having sex. At first it was just normal. And then she asked me if we could get into bondage, having, I guess, more violent sex. We ended up on the floor, and then she told me to hold her throat. So I went into the shower, and then all I remember is falling asleep in the shower. I need to stop. I need to go.
Jesse claimed that when he woke up the next morning and realized Grace was dead, he went into shock and panicked. He said he put her body in a suitcase, drove out, and buried her, but he still denied any guilt.
I didn't know what to do. I went downstairs and I was just, I don't know, I was all over the place.
You come out of the shower.
Yep.
The light's been on in the shower.
Yep.
You put a towel around you.
Yep.
You've turned the light off, and then you've returned to your bed and you've gone to sleep in your bed.
Yep.
And at that point, when you exit the shower, you don't look around, but your assumption from the silence.
I thought that she had gone. I thought she had left.
We're going to head out of here very, very soon, and you're going to take us to where you've buried her.
Yeah.
She will likely be exhumed tomorrow.
Okay.
At some point, and after that, a pathologist, a specialist doctor, will perform a post-mortem.
Yeah.
They're very skilled at establishing people's causes of death. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you kill Grace Millane? Okay. Jesse Kempson, you're under arrest for the murder of Grace Millane.
The forensic search of Jesse's room added more to the already disturbing story, despite Jesse's attempt to clean up Grace's blood covering the floor of the hotel room. Given what Jesse had told them, it didn't take long for the police to search the area of Scenic Drive. The officers found the body around 10 yards from the road. Grace's body was found inside a suitcase buried in the ground. Thousands of people paid tribute to Grace and held vigils. Following this, Jesse Kempson was formally charged with the murder of Grace Millane. On December 10, just 5 days after Grace was reported missing, Jesse appeared in court in Auckland. He was granted a fair trial, which is why much of his interview footage was withheld for a long time. Following an autopsy, the pathologist confirmed that Grace was strangled and had bruises on her arms and chest consistent with being pinned down. Considerable force would have been required, and the pressure on her neck would have lasted between 4 and 5 minutes to be enough to kill her. After this, Jesse searched on the internet for how to dispose of the body. After Grace Millane's funeral, Jesse appeared in court and pleaded not guilty. His trial began in November later that year and lasted for 3 weeks. Jesse's defense team argued that, although tragic, Grace's death was caused by nothing more than consensual rough sex that had gone horribly wrong. They claimed that Grace had engaged in sexual encounters like this before meeting Jesse. They said that Jesse had simply panicked and attempted to hide Grace's body after he realized the sexual encounter had accidentally taken her life. However, the prosecution, armed with evidence and witnesses, argued that Jesse did not panic and that this was not simply an accident. They contended that the act was clearly deliberate and intentional. Despite his protests of innocence, on December 22, 2019, after just 5 hours of deliberation, Jesse Kempson was found guilty of the murder of Grace Millane. Jesse was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. Grace's death was a devastating blow to her family, friends, and the wider community. However, her story also sparked a global conversation about the safety of solo travelers and the dangers women face. Grace Millane's life, though tragically cut short, continues to inspire many. Her love for life, her courage to explore the world, and the impact of her story remind us of the importance of safety and the need to protect those who are vulnerable. Her legacy lives on through the efforts to make the world a safer place for all.